Good morning, and thank you for being here. A short time ago, sex crime detectives assigned to our Special Victims Division swore out arrest warrants charging Phillip Hayes, age 46, with aggravated rape, aggravated kidnapping, and aggravated burglary from last Saturday's stranger rape of a woman in her 70s in her home off Bowling Avenue near Elmington Park. I know that today's charges come as a relief to residents in the neighborhood surrounding Bowling Avenue who understandably were shaken and scared from this horrendous crime. I want to thank the victim for working closely with us, detectives in our Special Victims Division for following leads in the case throughout the weekend and this week, and scientists at our crime laboratory who were called in over the weekend to begin analysis. Hayes has been in custody since Tuesday morning on charges of assaulting an officer, auto burglary, resisting arrest, and possession of meth. He was deemed to be a suspect in Saturday's rape case shortly after his arrest and was questioned at the downtown detention center Tuesday evening. During questioning, Hayes acknowledged that a publicly released surveillance photo of a man wearing green shorts captured by a surveillance camera in the Bowling Avenue neighborhood Saturday morning was indeed him. However, when asked about the rape, he ended the interview. Hayes refused to comply with a search warrant for a DNA sample at the jail. He ultimately complied after being taken to General Hospital Wednesday morning. The DNA sample was ultimately taken to the MNPD crime lab, where scientists at the lab have now confirmed that Hayes' DNA matches evidence recovered in the rape case. I want to express my appreciation this morning to a homeowner on Gale Lane who called 911 at 4:20 a.m. Tuesday to report that a man had rung the doorbell several times and was going through the family's Jeep parked outside. It was that telephone call that ultimately led to Phillip Hayes' arrest. Responding officers saw footprints going towards the back of the resident's property up to the back door. Surveillance cameras showed a man, later identified as Hayes, walking around on the property. Officers looked for the man in the darkness but could not find him. What they did find, however, was a vacant black minivan in a ditch partially blocking Gale Lane. The van was a rental and was stolen from an 11th Avenue North hotel July 22nd. Officer Michael Hodges had the van towed. Just after the wrecker drove off, Phillip Hayes came walking up Gale Lane at 5:25 a.m. Officer Hodges stopped Hayes, recognizing him from the surveillance footage he had seen a short time earlier, and asked him where he was going. Hayes claimed to be out for a morning walk and that he stayed in Brentwood. When Officer Hodges attempted to detain Hayes and handcuff him, he began flailing his arms and took off running. Officers Hodges and Alex Perry apprehended Hayes at 6:55 a.m. Tuesday morning in the 2500 block of 8th Avenue South, shortly after he emerged from a woodline. We know of no legitimate reason for Hayes to have been on Gale Lane Tuesday morning. I believe that citizen's call at 4:20 a.m. set in motion a response from Midtown Hills officers that took a very dangerous man off our streets. Hayes has no arrest history in Nashville prior to Tuesday. He was arrested in Lebanon in May, charges of driving without a license, auto theft, and misdemeanor drug possession. He is a convicted felon out of Virginia on charges of cocaine and assault. He has arrest histories in Florida, where he was convicted of indecent exposure, and Kentucky. It is not clear how long he has been in the Nashville area. These are the facts as we know them this morning. And before I take just a few questions, I want to recognize lead sex crime detectives Jabi Jabarov and his colleagues. Please raise your hands. Michael Hodges, Alex Perry, our crime lab director, Amanda Sweet, DNA supervising scientist, Julie Ellis, and DNA scientist, Ben DeBlanc. It is important that our crime lab team be here today because you don't hear much about the important work that they do. But it's vitally important in the efforts that they do in holding our violent criminals accountable for some of the worst crimes. I want to thank our team for their efforts, for their relentless work. They spent tireless hours over the weekend and through the week in bringing this case to where we can charge the individual today.
Due to his behavior on Gale Lane, looking through the resident's door, and something that wasn't mentioned in the stolen van, there was numerous purses in there, women's purses. I contacted Detective Hurley, and together we were able to quickly piece it together. But it would be mostly her identifying him after the fact.
Can you talk about the struggle and the encounter with him?
I'm sorry.
The struggle and your encounter with him?
The original encounter, or?
I guess both.
Both. Yeah, when I first met him, he was walking down Gale Lane. He acted like he was going to listen to me. He was turning around for me to put him in cuffs. Then he kind of slapped my cuffs out of my hand, and it broke my radio when he did that. So I go to get my cuffs off the ground, and he's already ran into the wood line. Searched for him for I don't know how long, maybe an hour. Ended up finding him on 8th Avenue. Semi-resisting there, but not too bad. We got him in at that time. From there, though, completely irate in the backseat of my car until we got him to the sheriff's office.
Alex, you have anything you want to add there?
He wasn't a pleasant individual. I mean, he threatened to spit on me at booking. Other than that, I'm happy that we actually. It's nice to see everyone come together and how this set in motion, getting undesirable person off the streets.
Yeah, talk a little bit more about that feeling when you realize that this guy is linked to this other, horrendous crime for which you've been searching for the suspect. When it kind of clicks in your mind that you think you got the guy, what's that feeling like?
Yeah, Officer Hodges texted me on my way home from work and showed me a picture of the surveillance footage from the rape, and we compared it to my body camera footage. And at that time, I was like, it's definitely him. But of course, you have to go through the process of DNA and everything like that. And it was a great moment, I think. Yeah.
I'm just grateful we got him off the street. There's so many people that had to work and so many things that had to come together for it to happen. I'm just very grateful we were able to do right by the victims.
When you saw those purses in the van, did that kind of make you feel like, wow, he's been in a lot of homes, and there could have potentially been a lot more victims?
So those were new purses. I think he stole them from some store. But why would a single guy that we know of have all these purses? You combine that with him staring through the resident's back door, just concerning behavior.